All right, if you are a producer looking to make money from email marketing, this video, hands down, will be the best that you have ever seen, and I can guarantee it. We are going to make it so simple and so easy for you to understand and actually start implementing email marketing strategies that will give you results in just a short period of time. So let me break this down for you guys. First, Robin, the founder and the CEO of Heat, will talk about how email marketing was the center of his beat selling business. He's gonna give you a top-level overview of why, what, and how it all works and its overall importance in your beat selling strategies. Not to mention even some real-life examples from himself, as well as a client that we've recently helped as well. And then I'll be coming in after him to talk more about the technicals, the implementation, and actually getting set up so you can follow along. And we've even added extra videos at the end of this going over each step and how you can get fully set up no matter which beat store you are using. So let me throw it over to Robin to take over, and I'll be back later in this video.
All right, guys, so I'm going to start off with a quick introduction and backstory on myself. I'll try to keep that short, and then I'll move on to talk about some of the fundamentals of email marketing, what its true purpose is, and also the overall strategy behind it. So, quick intro, my name is Robin Wesley. I am the founder and CEO of Heat. I started all of this over 5 years ago with the purpose of educating producers about marketing. Now, aside from Heat, I've been selling beats for over a decade now. It was actually what allowed me to quit my job back in 2016, and for more than 6 years, I was able to completely live off of selling beats and producing music. Now, I've always had my unique ways of selling beats, not going the traditional route of just uploading beats on YouTube or a beat store and waiting for someone to come around and buy it. That whole process, even then, it was just moving too slow for me. So I kind of doubled down on learning about online marketing, SEO, and email marketing. And it worked because over the last 10 years, I've sold thousands of beats. I made close to $1 million in revenue. I've produced hundreds of songs. I had a few major hits in Asia. I've had my music used in TV shows. But most importantly, it allowed me to live a life completely off of music. Now, I'm not saying all this to flex. I just think it's important that you know a little bit of my backstory, because throughout this entire video, we'll be referring to some of my personal results as well. Now, that's not to say that all my success came from email marketing. That honestly wouldn't be true. However, the benefits of email marketing and its true purpose, it will show you how I was able to scale and make 6 figures off of selling beats without having the biggest YouTube channel or thousands of people checking out my music every day. And I feel like this will be probably the most valuable thing right now. You see, what we've been noticing is that while people take our advice on email marketing, they follow whatever tutorials or instructions we give them, a lot of people do it without actually understanding the thought process behind it and why you're actually doing this in the first place. So please don't skip over this part, because it'll make no sense to jump to Ryan's part where he'll be talking more about the technical things if you don't understand the basics first. So let's jump in and talk about why I started using email marketing in the first place. Easy. Sales, sales, sales. You know, over 8 years ago now, I studied a ton of information about this topic, and it convinced me that this was the way to make money. And it's probably why you're here too, so I'll be starting off with that. You see, with email marketing, most people think that you have 3 options when it comes to using it. So you have a list of email contacts. What do you do with this? First, you can send them email blasts, for example, with music updates or sales offers. In email marketing terms, these are usually referred to as broadcast emails, blasts, or one-off campaigns. You can also schedule entire sequences of emails. For example, during a Black Friday sales campaign, you prepare like 10 emails and you tell the software when to send it. So you send 1 email today, 1 email tomorrow, and 1 email after 3 days, and so on. And finally, we have email automations, which is an automated sequence of emails that people go through. For example, if someone just joined your list, you can have them go through a welcome automation, which could include a series of emails in which you introduce yourself, but you could also be promoting a 15% discount for new customers. Now, another form of automation is, for example, a post-purchase automation. This automation automatically triggers for people who just bought one of your beats. So you can follow up with them, or you can send them a thank you email. Now, these are the 3 main features people use when it comes to email marketing. And as you can see, it's all based on sales, right? Now, if done right, it's highly effective and it seems pretty simple, right? The thing is though, if this is all you know, you will never see the type of results that we are having from email marketing. And this kind of ties in with the reason why some of the biggest producers and brands come to us just for email marketing services, which I'll talk about a little later as well. First, I want to talk about the 4 pillars of email marketing. We have discovered that these 3 core features, they are only effective if you understand how to manage and optimize the 4 pillars of email marketing: contact management, segmentation, engagement, and timing. You see, anyone can write an email. ChatGPT can write your emails these days. There's nothing special about writing emails. This is why we focus mostly on the 4 pillars of email marketing. Now, don't worry, I'll break this down for you. Contact management. All email marketing software, they will charge you for the amount of contacts on your list. So this is why contact management is important. The quality of your list is actually way more important than the size of the list, which means that you don't want people on your list that never really open an email, right? You might as well get rid of them as soon as possible. It'll save you money, but it will also help you optimize your overall engagement, which brings me to segmentation, which means knowing exactly who to send what email to. Now, in pretty much all email marketing software, you can build segments of contacts. Quick example, if a first-time buyer, that's a segment, joins your list, then you may want to follow up with them using a different email than someone who has already spent over $400, which could be a segment as well. To give another example, one of our clients we've helped had an email list of 120,000 people. But after we did an audit, we learned that 80% of the email revenue was made up by less than 15% of the list. Now, this doesn't mean that the remaining 85% on the list never bought anything or that we should remove them. In this case, it means that the people in that 15% should be in a segment of their own, treated differently than others. Now, engagement means how people interact with your email marketing efforts. For this, you can track metrics like open rates and click rates. In email marketing jargon, they usually refer to this as deliverability, but in how I will explain this, it's probably better to refer to it in a more general sense, because engagement to me goes further than just delivering a bunch of emails. Finally, timing means when and at what frequency to send out emails. For example, an update about new music, you can do that at random every week or bi-weekly, but a sales campaign, that's usually tied in with real life events like holidays. And when such holidays come up, then we up the frequency to send out, I don't know, 1 email a day. And on the final days of the sale, we sometimes send up to 3 emails. Now, I really want you to take note of these 4 pillars. I don't know, take a screenshot, maybe even pause this video to make sure that you really understand them correctly, because this right here, this will make a huge difference in your entire email marketing game. Now, to emphasize this, I want to go over some recent real life examples with you. So a few months ago, we got in touch with Sauceware Audio, and they needed our help with their email marketing game. They had a pretty big email list, but they weren't really able to properly monetize it. Anything they tried, it failed. Their open rates and click rates were extremely low, which told us that there was something wrong with, first of all, their engagement and deliverability, and 2, how they managed their list. So when we took over, we didn't dive right into launching a major sales campaign to boost revenue. First, we did some basic stuff. We did an audit on the list. We got rid of people that hadn't engaged with any emails in the past 6 months. We built segments of customers, non-customers, product-based segments, and more. We also send out some engagement emails, like just asking people for feedback. And in those type of emails, there's like no sales incentive at all. Our only purpose is to get people to open the email and respond as well, because that is how you get people to engage. Now, what we also did was preparing a bunch of so-called automated flows, fully based on user behavior. Like when someone buys a product, or if a user added a product to their cart but they didn't buy it, these are actually called abandoned cart flows. Now, overall, it made up to an actual strategy to revive their list, with the ultimate goal of improving their engagement, deliverability, open rates, click rates, and of course, increase revenue. Now, I don't want to go too deep into the technical stuff yet, because Ryan will talk more about this later, but I do want to give you some examples of those automated flows that I talked about, because this will show you exactly why I want you to memorize and base everything that you do on the 4 pillars of email marketing. So we set up a simple post-purchase flow. someone has just interacted with a brand and they bought a product. First, we made sure that they end up in the right customer segment and product segment, so that's segmentation. And this allowed us to tailor the emails to match whatever product that they bought. Then we used automated flows to send them a thank you or a follow-up email right after they had just bought the product. That's timing. And because we engage with people right after they purchase and we tailor the emails to match what they actually purchased, there's a much higher chance for them to open the email, which will help with engagement and deliverability. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this will help build a quality list. So all of this directly ties in with contact management as well. Now, we did the exact same thing for abandoned cart flows. Someone added a product to the cart, but they didn't check out. Our software was able to detect this, so we put those people into a segment of potential customers. Now, in this case, we could even detect which product they added to their cart, which is also another segment. Then we used automated flows to send them smart emails in a timely manner. Sending an email with the subject line, here's a 10% coupon code, because we know that they were already on the fence of buying a product. All was left is to get them to actually complete their order, right? So we give them a little nudge in the right direction with this. Now, in this case, we used segmentation to put these people in the right segment. We used smart emails and we timed them perfectly to ensure that they would open the emails and click to complete their order. Now, there's of course a little more to it that I'm not going to go over entirely. Instead, I just want to show you what it did in the long term. So when they started working with us, Sauceware had a 10 to 20% open rate and they weren't really making a lot of revenue off of it. And it pretty much seemed like their list was dead. So our initial strategy was entirely based on reviving the list first. And it worked. We were able to bring their open rates from an average of 13% to an average of 43%. And once we had successfully done that, we continued helping them out. And we even set out the entire email marketing campaign for their latest Trifecta plugin launch. Now, ultimately, this became one of their most successful campaigns with over 30% of the total revenue attributed to email marketing. Now, after this launch, they saw a 381% increase in email marketing revenue compared to when we first started working with them. Now, I thought this is a really great example to showcase the importance of those 4 pillars of email marketing. But I also want to give you a different example that may be a little bit more relatable to your situation. So as you know, I've sold beats for many years and email marketing has always played a huge part in this. However, for reasons I won't go over in this video, I haven't made or uploaded a beat in over 2 years. My YouTube channel is pretty much dead, and over the years of inactivity, my sales have gone down from around 10K a month to now less than 1,200 a month. But a few months ago for Black Friday, I decided to run a test. We were working with Soundy and helping their users run a Black Friday campaign using Soundy's unique features and email marketing. However, I wanted to get more involved in the whole process myself so I could better provide support to whoever needed it. So I decided to follow along with the same campaign that Ryan prepared for the Soundy users. I started off going over my old list that I hadn't sent an email to in almost a year, and based on some old data, I removed some inactive contacts and I made a few adjustments to Ryan's campaign so it better fit my story. Then I also asked a couple other producers to send me some beats so I could just put them on my store so I at least had something new to show my contacts. I ran the campaign for about 12 days, and in this period I sold over 100 beats and I made over $2,000. Now, a lot of beats that I sold, they were actually from the other producers that I promoted, but if they were all mine, it would have been way over $3,000 in 12 days. This is 99% coming from email marketing only, sending emails to a list of contacts that I've gathered over the years but haven't reached out to in over 10 months. My open rates were obviously low. It was around 25%, again, because of my inactivity. But this just shows that if I had still been active, I would have made a lot more money. Now, back in the day when I was at the top of my game, I sometimes made over 10K in less than 10 days using email marketing. So you may wonder, how do I get these kind of crazy results from email marketing? Well, that's what I'm going to go over next before Ryan takes over. Let's talk about the most important aspect of doing business. So for a moment, I want you to let go of everything I just talked about. Forget about how to write emails, about open rates, click rates, segments. We'll get back to that stuff later. When it comes to doing business, any business for that matter, what would you say is the most important aspect of it? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it networking? Is it the quality of your product? Is it the quality of your service? What would you say is on the top of your list? And I really wish that we did this live so I could see your answers, but please let me know in the comments below what you think is the most important aspect of doing business, even if my opinion is different from yours. I'll tell you what I think is the most important aspect. It is the quality of service. It is how you serve potential and existing customers. You see, if you know how to be of service to other people and understand that you need to put everything on giving them the best user experience, then pretty much everything else will fall in place. Networking and building connections, it will go a lot smoother. Sales will come easier and more frequent. And I mean, a good quality product with poor customer service, that's still a shitty experience, right? Now, let's get back on topic and bring this back to email marketing and how to use email marketing to improve your service. Now, in this final section, I'll talk about how to take full advantage of the email marketing software and the features and benefits that go way beyond the basics of just sending emails. And I promise that this will be an eye-opener for a lot of producers out there. So last year, we spoke to a handful of bigger producers selling beats online. I'm not going to mention their names, but they're definitely some of the bigger guys. However, last year wasn't really a good year for selling beats. And these producers we spoke to, they were actually in trouble. Their revenue started dropping month after month. Some of them came from making $25,000 a month, dropping all the way down to like $8,000, $6,000, some even around $5,000 a month. That's a massive 80% drop in sales. So when we talked to them, we asked them like, dude, you sold so many beats of so many different artists. You must have a big ass list of people to monetize using email marketing. But the crazy thing is that most of them didn't. In fact, they never really put effort into reaching out to the people who bought their beats, which at the time, it honestly just pissed me off sometimes. Because to me, that makes absolutely no sense. Again, a good quality product with poor customer service, that's still a shitty experience, or at least not an experience that you will remember, right? Now, to be fair, some of the producers we spoke to, they did have an email list, but they failed to use it properly. They didn't really focus on the 4 pillars of email marketing. And as a result, in terms of content management, their list was of poor quality, their engagement sucked, low open rates, click rates, also poor segmentation. Like they had a massive list, but they literally couldn't tell us who was a customer and who downloaded the free beat. They only send out email blasts out at random. Some never even ran a holiday sales campaign in their life, nor did they even know how to build one. And I think last year with a lot of producers dropping in sales just shows that you really need to own your data. So you have something to fall back on, and also treat selling beats more of a business where uploading beats on YouTube it's just one task of, let's say, the marketing department, right? But as with any real business, there's also a customer service department. And on this department, there are people working with the sole task of improving the user experience. They do that for a reason. You see, this is my approach to business in general. If you focus on customer service, building relationships with your clients, and getting more money from a single customer rather than constantly trying to gain new ones, your business will instantly become more sustainable. But it's also going to give you a compounding effect, which if you think about it, makes a lot of sense. This kind of ties in with 2 key metrics that I've always been most focused on. And those who followed me long enough will know this. The first one is customer lifetime value, which is simply the amount a single customer spends in their lifetime. And the second one is the average order value, which is the amount that people spend in a single transaction. I started focusing on this very early on, and I truly believe that it's the reason why I sometimes make more money from selling beats with a relatively small YouTube channel and less traffic than other producers. You see, it's not about the quality of my music or the amount of traffic I'm getting. It's about making the most out of every single customer or potential customer that I'm reaching, whether that's 10 people, 100 people, or 1,000 people. And to support this, I want to bring up some data from some of the last months that I was very actively selling beats. Based on 1,900 transactions, the average that people spent was $89. You can go ahead and look at some of your own sales data. I almost know for certain that your average is probably somewhere between $30 to $50. Also, based on my last 1,200 customers, their lifetime value was over $135, which means that most of these customers eventually came back to buy more beats. And you can see that here when I bring up the list of how much some people have spent in my Soundy store. And just to be clear, these do not include exclusive sales because I always process those separately. I'm showing you this to prove that if you start taking a different approach to running your business in general and treat email marketing as more than just another sales tool, in fact, rather a tool to be of service to people and to communicate with them, you get way better results with putting in less effort. My Black Friday sale, it shows you that even with no activity, I can still make money from selling beats. And on the flip side, the fact that producers have dropped 80% in sales is simply because their model was primarily focused on gaining new customers. And I get it, because we all know the most popular advice that we get, upload beats on YouTube consistently, drop new beats consistently, and that's what we do. But in the process, it's like we completely forget that we're not running a YouTube channel, we're running a business that sells to people, like real people that have a story to tell, that have, a song to share with you, a song to make with you, and also more money to spend on your products and services if you prove yourself to be worthy of earning their business. All it takes is to connect with them in a way that's inviting and engaging. And this goes for customers and potential customers, by the way. So let's talk about how we can do that using email marketing software. Now, we're going to get a little bit more technical and talk about custom fields right now. So we actually recommend ConvertKit for email marketing. Simply put, these are fields that you can create yourself to store data from a contact. With the right tools and tutorials, you can actually populate these fields automatically, but this is a bit too technical for now. I just want to show you what kind of data I actually store here. Now, going back to our 4 pillars of email marketing, right? I guess by now you understand what it is that I do with this data. That's right, I use it for segmentation. If I know what type of artist someone is, I know which beats to send out to them. If I know someone is a customer, I will address them differently because they are special to me. And with all of this, what am I doing? I am creating a better user experience for my contacts and clients. Again, the quality of service. Now, don't worry, Ryan will later tell you how to actually use this. I will just tell you what to use it for. And this is probably going to be the part where everything I talked about up till now will fall into place. You see, aside from how I use this data, another reason I store data is because I want to own that, right? To break it down for you, when I make an effort to upload a beat on YouTube, my goal is to get them to my website and browse my beat store. And when they do, I would love for them to buy right away, but it just doesn't work like that. So I would at least like to know who was on the site and what they came to do. And this is how I make every little thing I do to promote my beats worth it in the grand scheme of things. But I treat YouTube just as a tool. My website is just a tool. My beat store is just a tool. These are all just tools. I am very limited in my abilities to influence, to incentivize, or be of service to people if I can't really reach them. So that's why I have email marketing set up for my business. If I do have a way to reach them, I can loop them back to my beat store, back to my website, or even back to my YouTube videos. You see how everything comes full circle now? This is a business model now, but in the center of it is email marketing. Now, another thing is, if people end up buying on my site, I want to make sure that I reach out to them right after. Now, the software will take care of this for me automatically, but in essence, I'm using a combination of segmentation. So I know someone is in the customer segment, timing, sending it in a timely manner right after they bought it, right? But also smart engagement tactics, using a subject line like, "Thanks for buying my beats," usually get them to open the email, right? These small things allow me to build connections with valuable people on autopilot. And trust me, they will appreciate that customer experience, even if it's automated. And when the experience is good, I can go on and capitalize on the relationships that I've built and continue to reach out to them using the principles behind the 4 pillars of email marketing and the 3 core features of email marketing: sending broadcast emails to them, sales campaigns, or triggering behavioral automations. Now, as you can see, I've integrated email marketing software to become the center of my business, optimizing different aspects of it, from building relationships with my clients, updating them about new music, even up to a point I use it as a CRM system to store important data. But I do realize that I've covered a lot and not all highly specific to the actual use of email marketing in your day-to-day marketing strategy. But to be honest, this was my goal. You see, we've been seeing too many people either using email marketing in the wrong way or not utilizing its full potential. And obviously there are some people not using it at all, which we hopefully change with this as well. So I really hope I was able to give you a different but valuable perspective on using email marketing software or just running a business in general. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you can drop a comment below. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Honestly, it would just really help us out and putting together this massive video so much more worth it. But also, if you have any questions about this, drop them in the comments below. I'll make sure they'll be answered. We're going to be switching over to Ryan right now, who's going to be talking more about the technical side of things and helping you actually set some stuff up.
All right, guys, so now we're gonna begin more of the technical / implementation side, and there's gonna be action steps I'm giving you along the way, and also some video tutorials at the end to get you set up right away too. So just keep on watching. There's gonna be a lot of gems in here. So to give some quick context, I have mainly been the face of Heat for the past 2 to 3 years, and I've recently been more focused on doing more work for our clients with the agency that we have, helping producers sell beats, sell sample kits, and it's a lot of email marketing. So when it comes to email marketing, I pretty much spend my days mostly planning out either ideas, sending campaigns, creating sales campaigns, or just managing the whole email side of things. So I'd imagine if you made it this far in the video, hopefully you're a bit past the thought of email is dead, no one uses it, it doesn't work. I believe that we have given you enough information so far to show you that those thoughts are false. But I don't want to discredit the fact that I know so many producers are still struggling to have any success with email marketing. So let me tell you the common issues that we usually see. So the first one is that they are doing it incorrectly, or they're just not sending out good emails. And this ties back into what Robin was talking about earlier with the 4 pillars of email marketing. Odds are they're just ignoring each one, and this really isn't their fault. They just never really learned email marketing. The second is that they are doing some things correct, but they may have a list with 100 people on their email list and they've only sent out 3 emails. Or they've just sent out so many emails in the first place, or haven't been using automations, right? So they're doing some things correct, but they're not hitting on each point. And odds are, because the list is small, the activity is low, there's just not that much of results that you could expect. So the biggest disclaimer that I can give you here is that email works. It's just the question for you is going to be how well it will work right now. For instance, with a $20 beat, you can't just send an email out to 100 people and make $1,000 like that. And at that also depends on what types of people make up that group of 100. We'll talk about it later on way more in depth, but customers and non-customers hold a different weight on your list. But then you may be thinking, okay, well, if I can't do much with a small list, should I just collect a ton of emails and then get started then? Or when should I start email marketing? And my favorite answer is yesterday. Now, the first action step I have for you guys is to get signed up with ConvertKit, and we'll leave a link below. Now, you might be wondering, well, Ryan, my Beatstars doesn't integrate with ConvertKit, or my Soundy doesn't integrate with ConvertKit. Why are we using ConvertKit? And don't worry, because there are going to be videos at the end showing you the step-by-step process on how to connect Beatstars to ConvertKit. We use ConvertKit because it's the best one for doing this stuff, in my opinion. I'll give more detail about that. And also we can share templates, which makes it a lot easier for you guys to learn from us. So just pause the video and create your ConvertKit account, and then just come back and play this once you have it signed up. So like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, another common mistake that we see way too often is producers will wait around for 5 to 6 months just collecting emails, but never doing anything with them and never emailing them. And the problem is that yes, you may have 1,000 emails now, but most of those people joined weeks, if not months ago, and they probably forgot about you. After all, you were never active in sending out emails. You never had any automations set up to first establish any engagement. So what's gonna happen is if you just bring these 1,000 people into an email marketing provider, or you go to send out an email to them, odds are you're just gonna hit the spam folder because so many people are not gonna open it. The deliverability is not going to be good. We'll talk about this more later on, and it's just not gonna work. Now, the good news for you though is that this is not completely ruined. There are ways to revive a dead list with a proper win-back campaign and warming up your email account, but that's another topic that we'll discuss later on. So let me simply put it here that the second you start uploading beats is also the same time you should start collecting emails. And like Robin mentioned before, and like I mentioned so far, this is why automations are so important with emailing new leads or new customers. We want to get active with them right away so that way they're opening up our emails ASAP to start building up those relationships. And trust me, once more, we'll talk more about this stuff later on, but just remember it all has to start somewhere, right? Every list has to start from zero. And listen, even getting your first 250, although it seems small, that's still a big list of people. Or even 3,000 people, which is pretty small in terms of the grand scale of things, that's a pretty good crowd. Or once you get to 75,000 people on an email list, I mean, that's a whole stadium full, and that is insane. And the craziest part about this is that because of email marketing, you own that data, and with a push of a button, you can contact these people whenever you want. But that leads into the actual implementation side because, of course, although you may have 75,000 people on your list, not everyone is going to open the emails. So let's talk about the fundamentals regarding the metrics of email marketing. First is the open rate. This is the number of people who opened the emails, and it's analyzed in percentages. So if you have an open rate that shows 60%, and if you sent to 100 people, 60 people opened the email. Now, of course, well, what is a good one then? Well, most data studies will show usually around 20%-ish, but with most clients we can usually get it from upwards 30 to even 60%. And just think about it, right? That's a huge difference because if an email goes to 10,000 people and has a 20% open rate, that's 2,000 people, which isn't bad. But with a 40% open rate, it's now double the people at 4,000 people. And don't worry, we'll discuss later on how we're able to get these such high open rates. Now, next is click-through rate. This is the measure of how many people clicked on a link, a call to action, or an image within the email's content. And once again, well, what is a good one? And most data studies will tell you around 2%, but for selling beats and even selling kits, there's also a good amount of variables that can impact your click-through rate and make it vary. So based on our own data with our own clients, usually for a sales email, we're shooting for anything above 1%. And for a free beat or a free item, we're also shooting for anything above 2% because it's free, there's more incentive to click it, and it will just usually perform better in terms of the click-through rate. The next fundamental is what's known as tags. Tags are a way to essentially label your audience based on certain actions or events. For an example, you can tag people after they purchase as a customer, or you can tag them after they free download with the tag of free download. Sometimes, depending on the software and setup you have, tags will be automatically added into contacts, and then you may have some certain automations you're doing where you want to tag people yourself, or some certain workarounds where you want to add tags onto people based on their activity, which is a more advanced thing, so we're not going to get too deep into it. But how are they actually useful then? The obvious way is that they are used to organize contacts. To give you an example here, we recently had a call with another producer who had a list of over 60,000 people, but they weren't tagged, so we didn't know who was a customer or who was a non-customer. And that's a mess to try and figure out, and it's really important you know who is who. There will be an insane amount of differentiating results between a list of 60,000 people where 50,000 are customers, or if only 5,000 of those people are customers. The results between the two will be insanely different. Now, tags can also be used to trigger automations. So as Robin mentioned earlier, an automation will send to customers after they purchase. This is set up because a customer is tagged with a tag, and that tag triggers the post-purchase automation to start. Now, these tags can also be used to create conditional splits for different journeys in an automation. For example, we can split an automation and send somebody on a different path based on if they are a customer or a non-customer, and ultimately send them a different personalized variation of an email. Personalization is a huge component of successful email marketing, and I'll have no doubt more to talk on that later on. Now, next is custom fields. Custom fields are a way to save custom collected data to your contacts. And once again, how are they most useful? Well, first, you can use this collected data to then segment your audience based into groups. For example, with using Soundy as the beat store, we can track things like which license they purchased, the name of the beat they purchased, and even their total lifetime value as a customer. And second, this data can also be pulled back into an email for each individual customer based on their own data. So now I know that everything so far might be a little confusing. And don't worry, we still have a lot of things to iron out. These are just the fundamentals, but let me give you a big picture overview of kind of putting everything that we just went over into actual practice. So let's say with the New Year's, we want to send a campaign to our previous customers to thank them for their support the past year and tell them to push hard in 2024. Well, first, we would need to create a segment in ConvertKit where it's made up of people with the tag of customer or whatever tag you're using to target and identify your customers. Next, we would write our email and use custom fields to add some personalization. So since we track the name of the beat they purchased, let's just say thank you for your most recent purchase of whatever the beat name is. To do that, we just insert the custom field code that ConvertKit gives us. It's super simple, it takes like a second, and then boom. So then when we go to send this email, we would say only send it to this segment of customers, And then for each individual person who gets it, they would be shown this email with the personalized content of the last beat they purchased. So hopefully this all makes somewhat sort of sense. It's not really beginner content, but it's highly important and kind of a top level overview. And it's just showing you there's more to it than just sending out an email every once in a blue moon. But let's be real. If I had to guess, you're probably still in the spot of, well, Ryan, that's awesome. I see the importance, but how do I grow my list in the first place, right? I can't do anything with 50 email subscribers. How do I grow it? And to do that, there are 4 main ways. You have free downloaders, you have your customers, you have a lead magnet sign-up you can put on your website / Beatstore on the Soundy page builder, and you have an X intent pop-up you can put on your website / the Soundy page builder. But of course, there's a bit more to each of them, so let me explain what I mean. With free downloads, I'm assuming you know what they are. Essentially, people can give you their email in exchange to free download one of your tracks, usually tagged. This is a setting that you turn on within your Beatstore, and if you have this turned off, pause this, go turn the setting on, and come back. Now, there's one caveat here to this. Free downloads are free emails, and it doesn't mean that they can't become customers, but you can't go straight into a sale with them. You first need to focus on engaging and nurturing them and making them the right offer to get them to purchase. This is where something like automations come into play. You can begin the conversation and slowly move them closer to making that perfectly timed sales pitch. And don't worry, I'll come back to more of this later on. Next, we have customers. So self-explanatory, this is the artist who buy your beats. On your Beatstore, even if you haven't been collecting emails, you'll be able to access the email history of all your customers, so don't worry, that will always be there for you. And listen, if you can learn just one thing from this video, customers are the most important people on your email list. Treat them like royalty and they will support you well. And then we get into lead magnet opt-ins. A lead magnet is a free item that you offer someone for their email. It's pretty much similar to free downloads, but a bit more direct. This could be like a pack of free beats, a 10% off coupon, or maybe like your own custom vocal mixing guide. Once again, the disclaimer here is that these are still free people who want the free item you're offering, so it's a great way to get people on the list, but they still need some nurturing. And then we have an X intent pop-up, which is when someone goes to leave, a pop-up like this will fire. We always have this set to offer a coupon in exchange for their email because the reason they may be leaving is because pricing was an issue. So the thought process is if we can give them a coupon while they're trying to leave, they might stay and complete their purchase because the price was just too high for them, but the coupon makes it more affordable. Now, there is an important note here. Since this pop-up offers a coupon, the person is still technically a free email, but by signing up for a coupon, there's a bit more intent behind their sign up, because why would you sign up for a coupon for something you don't really plan on purchasing? It just doesn't make sense. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that every person who signs up for the coupon will use it, but there's a bit more intent than just the free download or the free lead magnet. And so to bring this together, this really brings me to the most important part that I've been hinting at when it comes to email subscribers and the different ways of getting people onto your list, and that is each different type of sign up is not created equal. So you didn't ask for it, but here is my psychology report on free versus paying email subscribers. I made this one day working, and I think you guys will like it. So let's start off with paying customers, starting off with the characteristics. First off is more engagement. They're more likely to engage with your content as they purchase something, so it shows a level just higher of commitment and interest. Next, there is also brand loyalty. So they're more likely to be loyal to your brand, especially if they're satisfied with their purchase and the customer experience process. And lastly, they are your feedback providers. They're more inclined to provide valuable feedback as they have invested in your product as well. Now, moving into the communication with customers. First is personalization, so you can use their purchase history for personalized recommendations. Next is exclusive offers, so you can reward their loyalty with exclusive offers or early access to new beats. And now to put this into practice, let me show you how we usually have this set up in the templates that we are giving out. So for engagement, the whole first email you send to new customers is completely about getting that engagement. Focusing on brand loyalty next, there are personalized emails to thank returning customers for making a returning purchase. So going that extra step to show them that you really notice they are a returning customer and they mean more to you. And even for personalization with the Soundy setup we have, it looks to see what type of license someone purchased. If they purchased a basic license, we send them a license upgrade email trying to get them to buy a more expensive license. But if they didn't purchase a basic license, we thank them for getting a higher tiered license. And then lastly, exclusive offers. offers. So we offer coupons for license upgrades if that email was sent to that person, and we even offer a coupon to come back in the win back sequence for the soundy automations as well. So now let's hop over to the free signups. So the characteristics here are that they are potential customers. So they may not have the financial means or they aren't yet convinced to purchase, but they do have some interest as they free downloaded one of your beats or they're listening to your beats in the first place. Next is broader engagement. So they might engage here and there, but not really deeply in a sense. And, they're probably looking for other producers and they're not really committed to any specific beats just yet. They're just kind of downloading a bunch and trying to see what fits them best. And then lastly, this is always usually higher numbers, but a lower conversion. So you usually have way more free downloaders coming in than customers, but they have a way lower conversion rate compared to your actual customers and pitching them a deal versus pitching the free downloaders a deal. That's why I mentioned earlier, if you had a list of 60,000 where 50,000 were customers or where 5,000 were only customers, you'd get two insanely different results. And of course, this also plays into the ways that you communicate with them. So you might want to focus more on the educational or engagement content. So provide the content that showcases the value of yourself as a producer, or just engaging in some start of a conversation to kind of get them to trust you and just like you more. And then also special promotions. So this could be limited time discounts or bundle deals to encourage the first time purchase as like, hey, this is a special offer for your first purchase for my new customers to get you to take that step. And then once again, let me show you how we usually have this set up in the templates we give out. So for the broader engagement and the higher numbers but lower conversions, we're usually using emails in our nurture sequence to qualify the leads. So if they're not a serious artist, just get off the list because there's no point of pitching you deals or communicating with you if you never plan on buying beats in the first place. And then educational/engagement content, usually within the nurture sequence and the free download intro, we're aiming to get a quick reply from these people to start up some sort of conversation. And then for the special promos, so after someone goes through the nurture sequence and we introduce ourselves and we qualify them, we usually go into a flash sale for their first purchase to give them that special offer. All right, so that covers most of the beginning concepts of the basics and laying down the foundations for what is more to come. And trust me, there is going to be a lot more to talk about. So now let's get into creating and sending effective emails. So this is going to start off with the only two ways that you can send an email. First is with campaigns. Campaigns are the one-off emails that you send to your list, usually on a weekly basis. The point of these is to keep your contacts engaged with your emails and hopefully getting them to either take the desired action that you want them to do, whether that could be reply to you or listen to your new beats. The second is automations. And automations on the flip side are automated emails based off of certain triggers or behaviors from your contacts. The point of an automation is to help bridge the gap in the journey and get them to where you want them to go next. For instance, if someone just purchased a beat, we want to have an automation to thank them, to build up that loyalty, and then kind of plan out a journey of steps to hopefully get them to return and purchase again. Or if someone just free downloaded a beat, we need to introduce ourselves, we have to nurture them, and then use something like a special promotion to hopefully get them to become a paying customer. And the best part about automations is that once you create them and set them up, they're basically running on autopilot and you're just looking to do some optimization as you get more people going through them. Now, that comes down to writing these emails. Well, the first thing we have to focus on is the subject line. And this is the part that the person sees in the inbox before they even open up your email. And I'll keep this super simple here. Here are my 4 major gems for writing great subject lines that people will open. The first one, which really holds the most weight, is if people recognize your name and they associate your name with value, they are going to open it. For instance, if your mom sends you an email right now, you're going to open it. Doesn't matter what the subject line is, it's from your mom, you know your mom, you're gonna open up that email and be like, why did my mom email me? So essentially, if you're actively building a brand to them and your name means something, they will open if they recognize your name. And also, like I said, this helps every other tactic just be more effective. Second is to make them curious. So the example of like, hey, did you see this? They're gonna wonder, what is this? Tip number 3 is the 4 use of headlines, which is a more copywriting tactic, which is good to learn. So this is unique, like I made a new genre. Urgency, like only 4 hours left. Ultra specific, 7 new beats for you, or useful, how to get more streams. You can kind of see how the 4 U's here each have their own way they make an impact on someone. And then you also just have the casual subject lines. So the casual language can work great, like what's up, beats, ? Or yo. It's just this casual language works good, and it's that one-on-one conversation that artists are used to. And my fifth tip here is to look at what other brands in the world are using and what emails you're getting and subject lines that ultimately you're like, hey, that's a good subject line, that got my attention, and then remix it for yourself. But now let's jump back to campaigns. As we mentioned before, we're gonna be setting them on a weekly basis, but what exactly are they and how do we write them? So like I mentioned, these weekly campaigns that we send out to your email list is just to keep them engaged and drive them back to your Beatstore or get a response to get some conversation going. The biggest reason in writing these is to have a reason for writing them in the first place and contacting your list, so that way it just feels like a natural conversation. And let me explain. So an example here, right, is like, hey Ryan, hope you've been doing good. I just got done finishing this beat and I had the realization I've been doing this for quite some time now, over 3 years to be exact. I wanted to reach out and ask how long you have been making music. You see, we're kind of giving them a reason of like, hey, I was making a beat and I realized I've been making beats for so long now. And I want to know how long you've been making beats. There's a reason for that, right? There's a reason for the email coming to the inbox. It doesn't seem weird or out of place. And then for the next email, hey Ryan, thanks for purchasing our beats in the past. Appreciate that. We were checking our records and noticed it's been a minute. It's been some time since you got your last beat. So it's like, hey, we were looking into stuff and see it's been a while. Like, have you been good? What's up? There's a reason for reaching out. And then, what's up, Ryan? Have you heard of all the crazy news with AI and music? That's the reason we're reaching out. Like, yo, have you heard about this? What's your opinion? What's your thoughts? Let me know. And so essentially you have a reason for reaching out to someone so it doesn't seem completely random. And then also within every email you're sending, you should have a call to action. A call to action is simply what you want the contact to do, such as click a button in the email that says, listen to my beats here. And I really want to stress that in these weekly campaigns, we're usually either asking someone questions or pushing them back to the Beatstore. There's never really any sales or discounts or offers until we're running a dedicated sales campaign where we're hammering them with sales emails for 7 to 10 days. These weekly engagement emails are just to be top of mind to them and get them to go back to the Beatstore. Now, going back to the call to action, it's also important that you only have one call to action per email. If you put more than one, people are just going to be confused as to what to do and they're going to end up clicking nothing. So now, to put those two together to get started, that means you need to find your reason for emailing and figuring out what you want your call to action to be, right? Do you want this to be a reply? Do you want them to go to your Beatstore or something else? And once you get that, let's get into writing them with 5 tips to help you do it. Writing tip number 1 is first name personalization. This is simply pulling in the contact's first name in the email. So it's like, hey Jacob, hey Ryan, hey Dan. And the issue here is that yes, some people may give you fake first names or names like IGG, RG, THG. Listen, it happens. You know, the email says, hey, IGGRTHGY, whatever. Like, yeah, it happens. Don't worry about it. They're not serious. It doesn't really matter. Writing tip number 2 is to avoid huge walls or just blocks of text that look like this. Instead, focus on short, choppy sentences in your writing that look like this. It's much easier to read, and it's how most emails are going to be formatted. Writing tip number 3 is with the formatting. So make sure to use bold text on what you want to stand out, but obviously you do not want to overdo it. And also use emojis. It looks more fun, looks more personable. I love doing it, but on the flip side, do not overdo it. Writing tip number 4 is using transition sentences. So these are the singular lines or sentences to transition from essentially the main idea to then the call to action. And this makes sense to the person reading the email, and it doesn't seem so random of like, hey, this guy's saying this and then he wants me to go check out his beats. It all flows together if done correctly. Let me give you some examples. So in this email, right, the reason why we reached out was like, hey, it's been some time since you got your last beat, but hey, if you're working on some new music or you have a few minutes on your hands, it would mean a lot if you could check out the new beats we've uploaded. It flows, right? With this email, right? By the way, I've uploaded a handful of new beats to my store this week. Have you gotten the chance to listen to them? If not, I'll leave a link below. And so like the by the way, right? It's kind of a little interrupt, but it's not like a complete 360 in the other direction. Or I guess that'd be a 180 in the other direction, a 360 be back where you started. But you know what I mean. And then also the next one, because let us tell you, in this past week, we've been feeling inspired and have made some crazy tracks. And so like the reason ties into the call to action pretty much. And so using transition sentences just to make that more clear. And so let's get to our final tip here, which is writing tip number 5, the PS. So the PS is used to add additional information at the end of an email or a message that might not fully relate to the main topic. Now, the reason here is a lot of people may scroll through emails, but they're going to notice this when they scroll through it. They're going to see it, they're going to read it. And also, this can be really good for adding in more curiosity to get your email to get that click in the first place. On screen right now, I'll put a really good example of an email for Sauceware pushing their new plugin Trifecta and how we use the PS to really try and get more curiosity and get someone to click. All right, so hopefully with those tips wrapped up, you now should have a pretty good grasp and you're going in the right direction. But there's still one more important part that I want to talk about that we haven't covered yet. For the last part of the kind of tactics here, we're going to dive deep into personalization and segmentation. So personalization is about making your content relevant to the individual based on any known data about them. Segmentation, on the other hand, is about dividing your audience into smaller groups based on shared characteristics, shared data, or similar tags, so that way you can tailor messages for each group of people you have. And really, the main reason why this is so important is that email is a highly automated process, and people know that emails are automated, right? That's just how it is. But if the emails are personalized, they're not going to think that it's spam, right? They're going to see it as more helpful, more valuable, because you're providing more detailed content that's more valuable to where they are based on their characteristics, their tags, right? It's more personalized to them in the first place, so it's seen less as spam. And of course, this leads to some great benefits. The first being increased engagement, right? Personalized content catches attention, and it also keeps people reading the emails, it keeps them engaged, and it keeps them opening future emails because you're always giving them value in what they're opening. The next is higher conversion rates. So essentially, tailored content that resonates better with the person because you know, like if they're a customer, if they're non-customer, you know what kind of beats they like, it's going to lead more to them taking the desired actions. And then also, it's going to lead to improved customer relationships. If people can tell that you care and you're putting some effort into it, odds are they're going to trust and like you more. But I say all of this to say that there's a major challenge when it comes to selling beats, and that you get limited data to create the segments and the personalization experience or process, right? Unlike other industries where there might be a huge amount of customer data available, in selling beats, it's often only the name and email that you have available, maybe a tag as to whether they're a free downloader, a customer, or whatnot. So of course, how do we overcome that challenge? Well, luckily with platforms like Soundy, they do provide you more insights, especially when it comes to your customers. An example is that Soundy will give you the customer lifetime value, which is how much that person has spent. And to show you why that's actually important and the big picture here, once someone goes above a $300 lifetime value, we send an automated email thanking them for being a VIP customer. Remember, it's about treating your customers like royalty and getting them to come back. If you get someone who has spent a lot of money to let them know that they're a VIP customer and you really appreciate it, they're gonna like you even more and probably give you even more money. Now, there is another easy way that you can still collect more data, and that is with using custom websites. And with that, you're using the Beat Store to handle the process of uploading and selling beats, and artists are used to browsing beats like that. But on the website itself, you can do whatever integrations you want, and you can kind of make it work together in your email marketing. So here's an example of the lead magnet on Robin's website. As you can see, he's asking some simple questions here to gather more data about the contact. And then of course, when you want to collect this data, you obviously have to create the custom fields to first store that data in ConvertKit. So let me give you an example of how this could be used, right? Let's say that you produce multiple genres. You do trap, R&B, and pop beats on your store, right? All of those different types of genres have different types of artists on your list. So instead of making one general weekly campaign, you could do this instead. You could make a segment based on the custom field of what genre the artist is. And then within that email, all you have to do is just change a few words around to match the segment of the genre you're sending to. So let me give you an example, right? Here is our basic email. It's generic, it's not bad, but we could add to it. And now here's the email for trap artists. Here's the email that we would send to R&B artists, and here's the email we would send to pop artists. As you can see, hardly anything changes, but we just made it a bit more personalized. Another example is personalization between customers and non-customers. So here is the email for a Christmas sales launch email that we sent to customers, where we thank them for being a customer. And then here is the same email, but changed up to go to non-customers, where we kept it the same, but switched that one sentence to be about the best time to get your first beat lease. So more personalized to where they are and where we want them to go with their journey, where we want them to become a first-time customer. All right, so with that being said, I believe that is the most condensed version I can give you of my knowledge. So now let's get into game time and start getting into the actual process on ConvertKit. And everything is timestamped if you need it. So I'm gonna send it over to future Ryan to continue where I left off here. All right, so now it's time to get all of this set up. And like I said, for this, we use ConvertKit. And if you're not already, use the link below to get signed up into ConvertKit. So as I know, there's probably a lot of people out there who are selling on Beatstars. And you're first like, hey, ConvertKit doesn't directly integrate with Beatstars like MailChimp or Aweber does. How comes we're not using that and we're using ConvertKit? First off, Aweber is about 10 years behind in terms of just how it looks and the functionality. So that's all I have to say about that. And then second is the integration and features. For example, on MailChimp, you cannot do custom fields unless it's something connected to one of their own MailChimp signup forms. So that's not good because it's something we're not going to do. And that's something that we critically need with custom fields. And also in terms of automations, MailChimp has an extremely limited automation functionality. That means that we can't be that personalized, which is another critical aspect. So then you're probably thinking, well, Ryan, how do I connect my Beatstars to this ConvertKit account? Because the whole point of email is to be automated and have that process run smoothly, and I don't want to be manually importing contacts. And luckily for you, there is a way to do this with a software called Zapier. So now we're going to have some pre-recorded videos that we're going to transition to about the whole process start to finish. Now, what if you are using Soundy as your Beat store? Well, it's a bit easier since Soundy directly has a Zapier integration, but we have a longer video on the channel for that because it's a bit more to get that all set up. So I'll leave a video link in the description below for you to find that video to get set up there.
All right, what's up guys? So I'm making this video before we get into creating any of the steps so that way you understand what's going on here. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking Beatstars and that directly integrates with MailChimp. So those two are automatically connected. It's super easy. I'll show you in just a second. But then what we do is, we have ConvertKit. Now, ConvertKit doesn't automatically connect to Beatstars. It's not a native integration they have that you can select. So what we have to do is we have to use a platform called Zapier, and I'll make sure to give you guys a full video rundown. It's super simple. Once you see it, you'll probably get the hang of it. It won't be tough at all, maybe just a minute or two to get everything set up. And so essentially, Zapier moves over the contacts from our MailChimp into ConvertKit. So you'll see this in practice, but just to give you the explanation, whenever someone does the following actions on Beatstars, they're automatically added to the MailChimp account with a tag. So whenever someone free downloads, they're added with the tag of free download. Whenever does the subscription / the sign up form or the sign up pop-up on the pro page, they're added with the tag subscription form to MailChimp as a contact. And whenever someone is a customer from your Beatstars, they get automatically added to MailChimp, once again, as long as it's connected with the tag of sales. And so essentially what we're doing is we're then using Zapier to transfer those contacts with any of their tags. That way we know, hey, this person free downloaded, so we're going to add them to ConvertKit as a free downloader. If somebody purchased, we're going to add them into ConvertKit as a customer, so that way we know what they are. Right? It's important with the whole segmentation, the personalization. We need to know if this person is a customer or not, or if you have like the subscription form on your pro page pop-up, you might have a lead magnet of like sign up to get 5 free beats or sign up to get a 20% off coupon. You need that to then be transferred over and start a sequence in ConvertKit, which I'll show later on how to deliver what it is you're actually getting them to sign up for. And also what we're going to do in Zapier is we can actually make it so that way it'll take the contact and move it from MailChimp to ConvertKit, and then it'll automatically delete the MailChimp contact once they're moved over, so that way you can stay on a free MailChimp plan, because essentially someone's added into the MailChimp, within 5 minutes they're moved over to ConvertKit, and then they're deleted off your MailChimp account, and you don't have to worry, like you can delete them because they're on your ConvertKit account. You don't need them on the MailChimp account too. So that's just kind of the setup process of it. So now let's get into actually setting up all of this so that way you see what happens. All right, guys, so now we are in MailChimp. So if you don't have a MailChimp account, we have to create one. So just go to MailChimp.com. I'll leave a link below. Just click on sign up in the top right-hand corner here, and it's going to ask you what plan do you want. All you need is the free plan. So click sign up for free, and then it should ask you some, information here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this filled out. All right, so once you do the little sign up, it's going to ask you to activate your account. And so just click that. And then I imagine we'll probably have to go through another series of like onboarding steps here. So I'll play it once we get back to that. All right, so it's just going to ask a little bit about you. So just go ahead. These are just onboarding questions. So just go ahead and fill this stuff out. It's also going to ask for a business address because it's going to be for anti-spam laws. You need to have your address of a street address at the bottom of the emails, or else they will go to spam. I don't even think if you don't have an address set up, they won't even let you send emails. So you will need to put your address in here as well. All right, so it's gonna ask like your goal. These are just for onboarding surveys they do internally, so you can just skip all of this stuff. So skip, don't need to worry about the contacts or whatnot. Cool, we're not selling. Don't worry about this stuff. Website URL, don't worry about it. All right, so that's going to ask you, hey, like what plan do you want? Just click on continue free. We want the free plan. And then it's going to prepare our account. So I'll be right back once this is done. All right, so boom, we have our MailChimp account. So that's how you create a MailChimp account. Now let's talk about the integration with Beatstars and showing you actually how this all works and how contacts come in. All right, guys, so now once you are in the Beatstars dashboard here, all you gotta do is go to the bottom left and you should see the Pro Page setting. Now in here, you can select your integrations. And so you'll click on edits and then you'll do MailChimp. And so what it's going to do is going to bring you to a screen and ask you to log into your MailChimp accounts. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you're logged in, it's going to say, hey, do you want to allow this? Just allow it. It's perfectly fine. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay. So now once you do that, it should just redirect you back to the studio. And then it's going to say to select a list. And just click on the list. Whatever you made your name on MailChimp, it automatically makes a list for it. So whatever, you should only see one here. So just click on that and click on save. And so now what we can do is we can start collecting emails from Beatstars and sending them over to our MailChimp accounts. So now if we go into a Beat here, let's just do the free download. So if you go to pricing and you don't see a free download option, just a free, like you don't see like an email option, all you have to do is you have to go to contracts. And then let's just wait for this to load. It'll show you the free contract and we have to actually go in and edit the free contract. So you can see I have one here that's just called free. So you want to click on edit right there. And then it's going to say, okay, do you want them to give them the track with a voice tag? We do. And we want to capture email only. And then we'll do active by default on new content is yes. And then we'll just publish this. All right. And so now if I go back to my tracks here, when I go to download the Beat here, right, you'll see that the only contact we have on this account is just the account, the email that made the account. So let's go ahead and let's add my Heat email out here. And let's do Ryan at Heat. We'll just name this testing as name. So we'll click on send. And so what you'll see if this literally happens instantly, we can see that Ryan at Heat was added with the tag free downloaded. So now let's go ahead and let's show you how the other things work as well, just so you see what I'm talking about. So let's go to the Pro Page one, and under templates here, you can click on edit and you can go to integrations and you can choose to do the contact list provider. And so let's actually make this just a pop-up. And then for the headline text, let's put get 5 free beats. So let's say I wanted to offer a lead magnet of 5 free beats. We'll just click on publish here. All right. And so now if I open up this, you should see a pop-up right away. There we go. And so I'll just type in my name and then I'll type in my email. And you'll see that if I subscribe now, it's now going to add me over to the MailChimp accounts with the tag subscription form. All right. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to buy one of my beats so that way you can see what also comes for customers. So under coupon codes, just going to go create new coupon code. I'm just going to name this testing, make it 90% off and start now and publish it. And so now what I'm going to do is just go to my contracts and just edit my MP3 lease to be like $5. So that way the 90% off is like $1 or something. So let's go find that. Basic license, just going to make this $5. All right. So now what I'm going to do is just go to a new incognito window. So that way I'm not logged in or tracked under my account. So that way, right, if we buy now, it's going to update the contact that's already in the account. And I don't want to do that so that way you guys can see what's actually happening. And so I'm just going to go ahead and let's just pause this wherever we can do that. All right. And so let's go to proceed to checkout. And then I have a coupon code. We'll just do the testing code. boom, you can see it's 50% off or 50 cents because the cents, 90% off. Jesus, I cannot talk today. And so I'm just going to do debit or credit card and just pay for this as if I'm a customer paying for a beat, and then I'll be back. And so you guys can see when I go to checkout, I'm putting my email here as my Sound Design Beats email, which let me just show you guys that email is not on the account. So, right, so as you guys can see, there's no Sound Design Beats on here. I'll just refresh this, right? That doesn't exist on my account yet. There you go. All right, and here we go. I just purchased the beat. You can see the email I used to purchase. This is what a customer sees. So let's go take a look at how this looks in MailChimp now. So boom, just refresh my MailChimp and we can see that the Sound Design Beats, my customer, got tagged with sales. So this is how the whole Beatstars to MailChimp integration works. In the next video, I'm going to go over using Zapier to, well, actually the next video is setting up your ConvertKit account. And then we're going to go over how we can take Zapier to go ahead and move these people automatically with the correct tags over to ConvertKit, and then show you how to trigger things. So like I said, if you have 5 free beats on your pro page subscription form there that pops up, you want that in ConvertKit then to send the person the 5 free beats they signed up for, or if you're offering a coupon code, you want that to get sent to them. So I'll show you how to do that in these later videos, but this is just explaining how this whole process works with the Beatstars to MailChimp. So now let's go ahead and create our ConvertKit account to get set up there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and make a ConvertKit account. So there's a link in the description below for you to go ahead, and all you do is once you get to the page, just click on the sign up free button over here. It's going to ask to verify you are not a robot. Cool, we're not a robot. And so this is where you just fill in the information. So the name, email that you're signing up with, and your password that you want to make. So just go ahead and get that signed up with. All right, so now once you do that, it's going to ask like where you're joining from. If you already have a list or whatnot, you can always just click no, I'm just starting out. Just select the list size that you have. This doesn't really matter in terms of everything else because this can all be changed and edited later. So let's go ahead, and it's going to ask you to make like a custom domain for any forms you want to create, like a landing page. So that's that. It's also going to ask like what kind of person, what kind of creator you are. You can just put musician. Doesn't really matter. It's just more internal surveys. It's going to ask what you want to achieve. You can just click on send emails. Once again, this is all internal, so there's no like right or wrong way. It's going to ask you for a URL or whatnot. You can skip that. And so now it's going to give you like this onboarding video that you can watch. And so you can watch that if you want, but for this, we're just going to skip over it. All right, so then you're going to see it's going to say some of your features are disabled because you need to be approved by the team. This is a very, very simple process. It's going to say, hey, please describe your business now use the email marketing. So I'll go ahead and I'll leave in the description of what you want to say to this, and it'll get you approved. It might take a few hours for their support, but it's super simple, super easy. Don't worry about it. You'll see it's going to ask you also for your website URL. And so you can just put your pro page URL that you have. That works perfectly just fine. Then it's going to ask how many subscribers you are planning on importing into your account. Let's do 1 to 1,000 here. And then, all right, thanks. Someone will reach out to you with an approval, and this will literally take a few minutes and you'll be fine. Cool. All right, so now you have your ConvertKit account up. Let's talk about now getting this over from MailChimp to ConvertKit using Zapier. All right, so now we're getting into the Zapier. So in Zapier, you're gonna need the starter plan here. That's all you're gonna need. That'll be $29 a month. And like I said, this automates the whole process, which is amazing. And so you'll go ahead and you'll get that. And now we will come into our Zapier accounts and get things all set up. All right, so once you're in here, we are gonna go ahead and you're just gonna click on create a Zap in the top left-hand corner here. We have folders for everything that we do, so mine's just right here because I made a folder for it. So essentially there's like this AI part here. We can just ignore this right here, but now we have a trigger. So the trigger that we're gonna do is let's just do our free downloads first. So the first thing we actually have to do is we have to go back into our ConvertKit accounts, and we wanna put over these same tags into our ConvertKit accounts. So under ConvertKit, we're going to go grow subscribers and tag. So we're going to create a tag called sales. Click on save. We're going to create a tag called free download, save. And we're going to create a tag called subscription form. We have to do this first, or else if we try to continue on, there won't be the tags in ConvertKit that we have to select from. So we have to do this first. So now I'll go back to Zapier. and just type, let's rename this free DL to CK. So free download to ConvertKit. So our trigger will be MailChimp. So just type in MailChimp. And then it's going to ask what event you want. Choose a new subscriber in segments or tag, and then choose your account. So I'm going to go ahead and we need to connect a new account here. So it's going to ask you to log into your MailChimp account. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so once you're logged in, we'll click on continue. And then for the audience, you should only have one audience. And for the segment or tag, we're going to select free download, since this is the free download to ConvertKit. And you should already have somebody in your MailChimp accounts, if you followed along so far, doing a free download yourself. Right, my Ryan at Heat email, that's the email that has the free download tag. So it realizes that, pulls that in for me. So now the next step we're going to do is ConvertKit. So under ConvertKit, we're going to go to event. We're going to do add tag to subscriber. And now we're going to click continue, and we're going to choose our account here, and we need to set it up. So we need to get our API secret key. So if you go to your profile here and you go to settings, you'll see under advanced, it says affiliate link, API key, and tracking options. You want to click into that, and it'll say API key, then it'll say API secret key, and it'll have it hidden. You have to click show, and then you copy and paste that into here. And I'm not showing this because if you have someone's API key, you can then connect to their account. So obviously you want to keep your API key hidden and not public. All right, so I pasted in my secret API key, and now the account is there. So I'll click on continue. And like I said, the tag, it's auto-populating from the tags that already exist in ConvertKit. So if you didn't follow that step of creating those tags first, as if we got into there, before I started building this out, it's going to show you nothing here. So you have to make sure you create the tags in ConvertKit before doing this step. And then of course, we want them to get tagged with free download. Under the email, you're going to see there's a step here for MailChimp. You want to choose the email address from MailChimp, and then the person's first name from MailChimp, and then click on continue and click on test step. And so what we'll see here is if I refresh this, you can see there is no subscribers there, but if I refresh it, boom, we have that email, that name with the tag of testing. And now what we can also do is we can add a step here in MailChimp to then go ahead, scroll down to unsubscribe the email from our MailChimp account. So that way, once they get moved from MailChimp to ConvertKit, MailChimp is going to delete that contact off our account so we can stay on the free MailChimp plan. And so just select your audience, select the email like we did before, and delete member, you want to make that equals true. And so if we look here, you'll see that this person right now is subscribed. Whoops, wrong person. It's my Ryan at Heat. We'll see they are subscribed. Cool. And so if I do test step here, you will see that if I refresh this, they should be archived or deleted, archived. There we go. So this person is now deleted off my list, and we are not paying for this contact anymore. So then all you do is you publish this, and that will be all set up. So now let's do this for our sales, our customers. So once again, we're going to create a new Zap in this folder, and we're going to just name this Beatstars sales to CK ConvertKit. And so for the trigger, we're going to do MailChimp again. All right. And then we're going to go to events. We're going to do new or subscriber in segment or tag. Go to continue. And now since our account is linked, we'll just click it from there. Click on continue. And then for the audience, choose the one audience you have. And for the segment or tag, right, this is the customers. Customers are tagged as sales. So click on continue. And then because we have a customer in here, you'll see that it'll pull in my Sound Design Beats email right there. Cool. So now the next step is to go to ConvertKit. So we're going to do events, add tag to subscriber, choose accounts. We'll do our ConvertKit accounts, continue. And for the tag, right, we want to tag them as sales. And now for the email, we will make the email address there. And for the first name, we'll choose the first name, click on continue, and then we'll click on test step. And like I said, that person wasn't there before in our ConvertKit account, but now look at that, they are there with the tag of sales. And then once again, we'll do the step here for MailChimp to unsubscribe the contact. So let's go unsubscribe email, continue, audience. You only have one audience in here, subscriber email, go into that MailChimp step, select the email, and then delete member equals true, continue, and we'll test. We can see right now, Sound Design Beats, they are now archived in our MailChimp. We're not paying for them anymore. So then you do the publish step once again. And so now I'll go ahead, we'll do the subscription form, the one last step that can be set up. So if we go into here, click on Create New Zap, we'll just name this Subscription Form BS Beatstars to CK ConvertKits. And so trigger will be MailChimp. This is pretty repetitive. It's just the same step over and over again, just a little bit different. New subscriber and segment or tag, continue, choose your accounts, add continue, audience, same audience, segment or tag will now be subscription form, click on continue, and then click on test trigger. Okay, and then click on continue with selected record, and then we'll go over to ConvertKit, and then we will go ahead and do add tag to subscriber. Choose accounts will be the info at leaders. This is the same ConvertKit account we've been setting up. The tag will then be subscription form once this loads in just a second. The email will be the email address, and the first name will be the first name. And then we'll do continue, we'll do test step. And then if we go back into our ConvertKit account, you will see there that contact is with the subscription form. And of course, you would add the step in here. I'm not going to do it because I've done it 2 times already. Just the MailChimp step here to then unsubscribe them from our list like we've done the past 2 times. And there you go. Your MailChimp is now set up so that way your Beatstars contacts that go to MailChimp will now go through Zapier and then automatically go to ConvertKit and be tagged properly. And in the next video, I'm just going to go over the process of kind of explaining ConvertKit more, also about how like automations work, because someone signed up, I believe it was, this email was a customer, this email was the subscription form, right? So if on your subscription form, if you're offering 5 free beats, you need to be able to give that person their 5 free beats, right? So we'll cover that in the next video, going over some of the ConvertKit basics. And yeah.
But now with that all being said, let's get into using ConvertKit and how you can actually set up automations, use campaigns, and just understand exactly what you're seeing in ConvertKit so that way you can get going.
All right, guys, so we are in just the basics of kind of learning ConvertKit, so that way you're not a total stranger to this. So at the top here, you have your menu. Let's just kind of run through this, right? So under Grow, you have your subscribers, and this is where you see all your subscribers. This is where you see your segments. This is where you also see your tags. For the products, Beatstars and ConvertKit obviously don't integrate. Same thing, this works for MailChimp too. You can't directly integrate your products into an email marketing provider with any Beatstars, so just ignore that. Doesn't matter which one you're on, they don't integrate, so just ignore that. If you click into a subscriber, you can obviously see more about them. You can see the email, the first name. You can also add custom fields in here if you want. If you're just using a pro page, there's nothing you can do to link up a custom field from anything on Beatstars over to here. So that's kind of out of the question just because of the limitation. With Soundy, there's a lot more you can do. So with Beatstars custom fields, you can't really do much there, so I'm not going to talk about it. With the tags, you have your usual tags of like free download, sales, subscription. So that's where they come over here. The email history, you can see what emails they got. Automation, you can see what automations they got. Sequences are just what email sequences are part of automations. So we'll talk about that in a second. And forms and purchases not really going to be used on here. Now in your send, this is where you have your broadcasts. So this is the weekly campaigns we send, the one-off emails you send to your list, kind of getting that engagement. Getting to go back to the Beat Store to listen to new beats. Snippets, this is actually really, really cool. So what you can do is, let's say you can make a snippet of your signature to put in an email template. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do the blocks, and we're just going to name this signature. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go find a picture on the internet of a fake person, and I'm going to just go to add this plus button here, and I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to make like a little email signature for myself. So let me just go find a photo from Unsplash. So let me just type in like teen guy. Let's see what we get here. All right, so let's say this is you, right? So what you can do is you can adjust the width, and let's actually crop this down so that way it's more of a square photo of just the guy, like that. All right, so it's more focused on like him. All right, so let's say this is you. All right, and so what you can do is you can adjust the width, and then for the corner radius, you can put it to round, so it's like a little circle. And then what you can do is you can click enter, and you can just put like hyphen, your name. And so let's click the photo, let's left align it, and then I'm just gonna highlight this. You can see there's like this little spot here that we can't get rid of, so just copy and paste this just backspace it and just copy and space now and click no, paste as usual. It gets rid of that little top line. And so boom, there's your signature now. And so what we can do is we can save this, and now we can go ahead to send and click on email templates, and we'll click on new email template, and we're just going to choose the text only one here as our base point, and we're just going to name this custom template. And so in here, you can change what kind of font you want, what kind of size you want your text to be. I like 18. You can change headings in terms of like when you make a heading text, the buttons. So let's say you have like a red or a purple brand color, you would put that in for your button. And so you can adjust it so that way the background color is this purple and the text is white. There's also, we can get rid of the ConvertKit badge. And so what we can do is underneath the unsubscribe button here, we can actually go ahead and add a snippet now of our signature, and then we'll go ahead and move this up above the unsubscribe parts. And so boom, now we have our email signature built out. So let's say we go to automations, right? So let's take the idea of you have the subscription form of like, hey, get 5 free beats on your pro page, right? You'd want somebody to obviously get the 5 free beats they signed up for. So you'd create an automation to essentially send out an email sequence. So an automation here, there's a video here. This will probably be really helpful for you to watch. We'll just click new automation. We'll do start from scratch. And so we'll click on start building here. And we want this automation to fire when someone's added to the tag of subscription form. And so we'll click on add events now. So essentially whatever happens next is only going to happen because someone is being tagged with subscription form. And so what I'll do is I'll add an email sequence here, and I'll just name this as 5 free beats email sequence. All right. And then we'll click on add action, and then we'll click into here. And this kind of gives you some more information about email sequences and whatnot. And just click on send this 0 days so it sends immediately. You can change our template here, right? As you can see, it's like the basic one they have. We can change this to our custom template. So now you'll see it's going to pull in me at the bottom. And so now I can say like, yo, let's pull in the person's first name here. Yo, first name. Here's the download to get those free beats you signed up for. And then remember, we made a custom button that was purple with my brand colors. And so I can just type in free beats here. Look at that. My button's all branded for me already, so let's change that. And then you can write a subject line. Yo, here's the beats. Cool. And then you can click on publish, and it looks like there's an empty link. So you actually click on the button, go to styles, and then in here you would just put the link to whatever you're selling or the beats. All right, and my account is still being approved. So yeah, I have to wait for that to be approved, but that's how that works. And so same thing, right? Let's say you have somebody who does a free download. You'd go start from scratch again, and the tag is added to tag free download. And so what you do is email sequence and just type in like free downloaders, click on start or create, click on add action, click into it, and then we want this to send immediately. So we'll send this to send email 0 days, click on change, custom template. All right, and so this can be like your email one, like, hey, what's up? And let's say you want to follow up with them in a week. So what you would do is you click add email and then send this email 7 days after the last. So it would say like, this is your weekly follow-up of like, yo, like, how's that track going? You downloaded the beat a week ago, let me know. Also change out your template here once again, and then this could be like your 7-day follow-up for that person. And so yeah, the same thing applies for customers. It would start with sales, and then there you go, that fires. You can build out automations as you go. And so, yeah.
Okay, so now we are at the end of the video, and I want to say that if you're feeling like you're needing some more help, do not worry, because we have you covered. So if you currently have collected emails from your Beat store, but you have never sent an email to them, or you have sent some emails but you're getting below a 20% open rate, we have a mini course for how you can revive that list and start making money from it. This is based on the same exact framework for how we help Sauceware with their deliverability, so there's no doubt this will help you too. And the reason you need to do this, if you have collected emails but never sent any, if you just send 1,000 emails right off the bat, odds are you're gonna go to spam if you do not properly warm up your accounts and your domain. And if you have under a 20% open rate, odds are that means that most of your emails are going to the spam or promotions folder, so you need to get them going to the main inbox. Now, if you're looking to step up your game with automations on Beatstars, do not worry because we have you covered with ConvertKit automations for Beatstars. And for our Soundy users out there, we also have ConvertKit automations for Soundy. And the best part about that is because of the unique features within Soundy, there are some more unique automations for you to use in ConvertKit. And then if you want to get one of the biggest head starts with the weekly campaigns and basically do no work, we have 20 weekly campaign templates for you to copy and paste as well that you can send to your audience. So that is my sales pitch for you guys. If any of that interests you, you can find all of this and more in the description below. And hey, if you have any questions about what all you just watched, which you probably should, I would imagine, it was a lot of stuff, just comment them below and we'll be glad to answer them. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed this.